yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then taste it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No pain for their disease. Just like a weed, spread through the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards in the weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Yo, Prince
How's it
Adam,
going,
what's
dude?
good?
You know, all that bag of chips.
All that.
Indeed.
Yeah, I just had
Indeed.
somebody try to call me, somebody that is very important to me at this particular part of my life, and I had to just send him a text message and be like, dude, I'm just starting the live broadcast. So,
Yeah, if they were that, if you were that important to them, they would know that. But
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess if they were that close, they would know what you were doing at this time on Thursday night. Yeah, all right, touche. Actually, this is the gentleman who is friends with. He's the guy that owns Future Skate.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh,
He's the one that's hooking me up with all of the world famous skateboard manufacturer artists.
Yeah,
the guys that are responsible for all the badass Santa Cruz and Pau Peralta stuff.
Oh
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rodney. Yeah, normally it's on Tuesday night. I'm pretty disheveled, and it's the end of the night, and I'm either wearing a hat or whatever.
Yeah.
Thursday's a little more important.
Yeah. No, Tuesday we let it all hang out. It's when we wear our ponytails and kick back.
That's right.
Yeah. Keep it
I'm pound of coffee. It's been a busy day. My daughter her boyfriend has flown in. Guy she's talking to has flown in. He's a Marine stationed in Yuma, and we picked him up from the airport this morning. So he's been a busy day there. So we hung out with him, and then just had some supper at my mother's house. Not dinner, because dinner in the South is actually lunch, or so I'll be correct here, supper. But yeah, we just had supper and just got back here. So I'm trying to fight off a food coma with some coffee and some cold water.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that.
No, man. And coffee, good strong coffee is great after dinner.
I'll take your word on it. Not a fan.
No, I know you're not. I know
surprise.
You're not. Surprise.
Weird.
That's right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Another night, Thursday night podcast, ADRL Podcast. Super happy to be back, partnering with, as everybody knows, we have got Renegade Racing Fuels. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Prince Adam put everything up here. Pretty beautiful. We've got Renegade Racing Fuels, Fuel Tech, and Duncan Race Cars. So, Chris Duncan Race Cars, I should say. But, we appreciate everybody joining back in. So,
then, of course,
getting a little closer.
Everything leading up to.
That's right. Drag Wars, Montgomery International Dragway, May 3rd and 4th. May the 4th be with us. Yeah, for sure. And Toby is the man. He sure the hell is, isn't he? We love that dude so much. I love Toby, man.
Great partner.
And what?
Great partner. Great partner to have for us. Just starting off and getting things. I was trying to vamp and fill time while you were drinking.
No, I appreciate that. It's okay. Yeah. A little talking guns, as we learn to make up. Great partner. So I've been trying to message some guys around Tennessee to get the Pro Mod numbers up. Sullivan will know the guy who builds the Roots, and then I'm covered. Roots and screw blowers. All right. Actually, I met with Chris. Yo, Carter Jackson. What's good, brother?
Future in the house.
Future in the house. World champ. If you don't know him, you better know him. Better get to know him, because in the next 10 years, he'll be the talk of the town. He'll be like Cole Pez's right now.
Yeah.
He'll be blasting that Pro Mod shit. He'll be doing that at 17 or 18. Jim Kyle. Yes. I'm pretty sure that I met Jim Kyle at World Series of Pro Mod with Chris Duncan and Amanda Hoover.
It's very possible.
Yeah, up in the bleachers. Yeah. And I felt bad because he was sitting there with his wife and we were all talking. That's the guy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I was just talking to Frankie Taylor, and Frankie was telling me how long it took him forever to get his blower. And it's been like a year, and he finally got it. And he's like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I don't know. And then the guy turned around and goes, yeah, that was me. And I was like, oh, my bad, dude. And he goes, no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, parts are held up all over the place. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I'm positive that it wasn't his fault, and it's not like he was just sitting on his hands at the shop.
Well, and I certainly didn't say it in a a shitty mean way. Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, it was definitely lighthearted and just more of a conversational piece. But so that's awesome. That is super awesome, brother. So yeah, more Pro Mods, the better. 16 would be perfect. We want 16 in each field. We want it to be a great, efficient race, and that's what we're looking for. So tell everybody. I don't have everybody's phone numbers and emails, and I know a lot of these cats aren't on Facebook. So I'm probably losing out on a good 50% of the guys that we could be talking to right now just by focusing on social media. But I don't have, so if anybody has a list of guys, some phone numbers, I'm fine with redundancy because I'm just making a list and checking it twice. So
that's why we've got a contact spreadsheet that we started up to prevent those sorts of things. So if you got a name, you got a number, you shoot it over to either one of us, and we will be more than happy to reach out to any and everybody. Jagger, Navez included.
Jagger.
I don't know if he's in here tonight, but I'm going to continue to call him out since John did. So.
Oh yeah, John. Maybe we'll let John and Jagger seem to have a nice relationship. So we'll let them talk the shit. I'm not comfortable talking shit to anybody else. I don't even have a car, so I can't talk shit. But I sure love facilitating some shit talking. I mean, that's fun.
I'm not a firefighter, but I love to throw gas. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it sure was fun kind of throwing gas on that fire between Cole Pez and Clyde Scott. That was pretty fantastic. It
was also interesting to see the smoldering remnants of that fire on the dock next morning.
Just Clyde with that just like hungover look and just that somber, I'm just tossing a pole kind of fishing my sorrows away. No, Clyde don't give a shit, man.
He don't care. He's ready
He
for the
loves it,
next one.
dude. No,
It's
he
all
loves
part
it,
of the
man.
game.
It is for sure. But yes, so again, this will be the greatest comeback in ADRL.
Got to keep it going.
Got to keep it going. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys are wondering why I'm stopping reading, it's because the camera covers up about a seventh or an eighth at the bottom of the screen. And so there's a good
Right about at the
few
point.
words that get covered up there. But yes, we agree. And that's what we're doing. And we're making it happen. We are slowly but surely. Rome wasn't built overnight. And the great thing is that Rome was already built. All we're doing is we're just kind of excavating it. It's kind of like Pompeii, right? We're just kind of knocking the dust off of it and kind of putting everything back up. And yeah, that's right, man. So wait, what'd you say?
I said the Mongols attacked, tore some things down. We're rebuilding. We're rebuilding.
The Mongols.
It's historically accurate.
Yeah, it is historically accurate.
The Gauls, there's plenty of people that attacked Rome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think everybody took their stab at the Romans.
Yeah, dude, they were everywhere.
They literally were everywhere.
That's Tuesday night.
This is not Tuesday night podcast. All right, let's get back to racing.
Me down a history road. I'll go.
Yeah. Let's get back to racing. So, yes, so we're super excited as the races keep going on, and I appreciate everybody's support because from a psychological standpoint, it is tough. But with the Marine Corps mentality of and just who I am innately, I have the innate ability to just keep fucking going, right? Like a dog. They'll just keep going till they're dead. And that's how I am. So I would rather not die doing this or bankrupt my family. However, got to do what you got to do. So we're going to keep rocking. And we have, as everybody knows, Drag Wars in Montgomery is going to be a free spectator event. You're going to hear us on the radio. I have got 15 different radio stations pumping Drag Wars in Montgomery, in Birmingham, and in Columbus, Georgia. So the biggest cities around that area, hour and a half away, their radios will just be blowing up Drag Wars. So, we're going to put it out there. We're going to get everybody in. We're going to pack the stands, and we just need to reciprocate the fans with full classes. So again, Pro Extreme, Pro Nitrous, Extreme Dragsters, tell your friends, tell your sisters, cousins, aunts, nieces, distant relatives who might have a car that run in those classes to come along. It's going to be fun. And on top of that, we're going to have a bracket race. Brad thought that it would be cool to have a bracket race. I guess there's some really good bracket racers around there.
It's a strong community down there.
A very strong community. So we're going to do like we did at SGMP, fill it in with some bracket racing. If there's a class that anybody's watching that's kind of itchy and they think it might be cool to do a race Friday night or something, hey, let us know.
You got 15 friends and cars that are safe, hit me up.
That's right. What else we got going on? So Drag Wars.
I mean, part of Drag Wars would almost be a good segue into our first guest of the evening. Plus, I know that he's a little bit busy and wrapped up being in a magical place,
a magical kingdom, and he's not dreaming. So yeah, hey, while we got him in here, let's bring in our buddy Bruce Shuck. He's joining us live from Disneyland or Disney World. I'm not sure which one it is in Florida. Is it, Bruce, what is it, Disneyland or Disney World down there in Florida?
Guys, I wish I knew. I think it's Disney World. Disneyland, I believe, is in California. But
okay, Disney World, fair enough.
So, how
is it? Looks like you're sweating a little bit. Is it hot down there?
Oh no, I'm not sweating. I'm from Florida originally, so this isn't hot. It's all the cameras on me,
Oh, gotcha. All the cameras on. Oh, that's great, man. Good. Well, I'm glad to see somebody that's down there enjoying themselves, man. It's been hectic around here. So when you get down there, do you spend a whole day? Is that what you do? You just get down there, spend 2 days or a few hours or shit? I haven't been there in so long. How's it work?
We jumped down here, flew down here yesterday, played around, then we jumped into the park this morning, and we're going to do today and tomorrow here, and then probably Saturday at SeaWorld. Sunday will be a beach day. And Monday night, we'll fly back home and go back to reality.
Amen. Love it. Well, good for you, brother. Well, enjoy your vacation there. So, hey, we're glad to have you on the podcast, brother. Why don't you tell ADRL Nation about yourself?
I'm just guys, I believe in the underdog. And I saw what I liked when I met you, Ryan, the first time at South Georgia. And you know what? I like to work with and fight with the underdogs. And right now, that's what I feel you are. And what I see is you're giving back to the racers. It's totally about the racer. They're in charge. You're just facilitating what they want to do.
That's right.
And, you know, I have been a racer, a tech, all my life. I mean, back in the days of Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood Speedway and at Palm Beach. And, you know, it's just, I like what I saw. I really do. And I believe in it. And I believe in you all. I like the enthusiasm and the fortitude that you all have put towards it.
Amen, man. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that. You froze up just a little bit, so I wasn't sure if you were finished or not. But I do appreciate that, and I really enjoy meeting you there at South Georgia too. And as time goes on, and as we unite as ADRL Nation, we'll just kind of be like a snowball, right? We'll just keep snowballing this bad boy and bringing in more people and gaining the support. And let's see. What he's not telling you, he's an experienced Toyota everything freaking amazing technician. Oh, you do it all, huh?
Yeah, I'm at Disney World. Can you believe that? My wife's chiming in.
Work on anything.
I try to. You know, it keeps my sanity.
What? Say that again, Bruce. You broke up just a little bit, my friend.
I said I like mechanical things. It's just a way for me to keep my sanity in this world. You know,
Amen.
tinkering around, building or repairing.
You know, I agree. There's two things I love doing. That's mowing my lawn, as weird as that might sound, and working on my Cutlass. And I'm just getting into the first time. You know, you got to start somewhere, but I'm rebuilding these Holley double pumpers that I have on my blower on my Cutlass. So never done it before, but pulled up some YouTube videos. I ordered some kits, and that'll be my after the kids go to bed for a few hours time to get out in the garage, kind of decompress, right. Turn on some tunes, and just kind of fiddle with it, man. So yeah, I know how you feel, brother. You just been doing it way longer than I have.
Nice. So,
yeah.
Heck yeah. I'm looking forward to Montgomery. I want to see. I want to see it grow. I want to see the growth at Montgomery. I want to watch everybody get around and lay down what they brought to that track. You know?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about the track, Bruce. They've been putting down some pretty good times. Brad put new concrete down out there, so you know, I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. You're local to Montgomery? Is that your local track, or
no?
Is Montgomery your local track? Or?
I'm actually northeast Atlanta right now, basically right outside of Athens. So there's no such thing as local anymore.
No, no. We quasi have local. We have Gateway International. I think that's what do they call that now? That's Adam, can you Worldwide Technology Raceway Park or some shit is what they call that now. And then we just opened Flying H down Highway 70 about 3 hours from us, and I think they're getting really good traction too. So, you know, we really appreciate your support, Bruce. You know, we're gonna keep grinding it, man. What are you looking forward towards the most as far as the ADRL? Tell me some of your ADRL history. I mean, have you been to some races in the past? Have you been around for the life of the eight? Cole, what's good, brother? Have you been around for the length of ADRL's life? I mean, what are your experiences and what are you looking forward to?
Well, no, I never was around for ADRL. South Georgia was my first experience with ADRL.
Really? So it made a good first impression.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all did. Everybody made an amazing impression. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe it didn't materialize the way they wanted it to, but I see it coming. I see it. And, you know, I started out liking IHRA and dealing with the tracks years ago, having to travel from South Florida up into Tennessee, North Carolina, just to do events and every once in a while rent a car for somebody. And then it kind of went away. And all we had left was NHRA. And you know what? ADRL's out. And if I can make every event, I will.
Amen to that, brother. Well, then, I
don't care if I have to work it for you. Anything, you know. I just need it to flourish. I'm looking at your baby as if it's my own.
Amen. Hey, it takes a village, right? And man, I tell you what, dude, I'm beyond grateful for you saying that, Bruce. Like genuinely. So, hey, we can use all the help we can get at these events. And right now, it's Prince Adam, it's my mom, and it's my stepdad. Right? It's us four doing these events by ourselves. Well, I can't leave out Eddie. Eddie is obviously our tech director and competition director. Montgomery is going to be a little interesting because Eddie has gotten a new job, as a matter of fact, at Disney World. So he has actually just started working there. He's an engineer on the roller coaster rides and stuff and whatnot, or something along those lines. And so we had to find a replacement, which he'll be joining us. And then I don't have a competition director right now for Montgomery, which is going to be myself. So I got a few guys on speed dial in case some shit's hitting the fan. We got Brad Wheeler there, who's an experienced racer who owns the track. So I feel pretty comfortable. Everything's going to be fine. But I appreciate you saying that, man. And we'll see you around for sure, brother. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah. So Bruce, that the ADRL, we're the godfathers of professional 8th mile drag racing. I don't know if you know that or not. 20 years ago, Kenny Nolling and a couple other guys decided to bring it to a professional level, and it's taken off ever since then. So, all these pro mod races that you see, all these outlaw races, wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the ADRL. So we got big shoes to fill. We got a big tradition and rich history to keep moving forward, and it's time for us to write our own chapter and really blow this thing up, man.
Yeah, it is. I think you picked a good time to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So, hey, real quick, Bruce, I appreciate you saying that, brother. Before we let you go, I've got a quick question for you. This is a segment I like to do called In the Groove. All right. So I am a big music guy, as you may or may not know. I'm sure you watch on Tuesday Night Podcast. When you're listening to music, if you listen to music, what are you listening to these days, man? What gets your juices flowing? What are you jamming to when you're working in the shop or hanging out and you're getting it going or cruising down the highway? What do you listen to? What's your favorite jams?
It depends on the energy level I feel.
Amen. Yeah, for sure.
If I need to thrash, I'm going to put on some music to thrash by.
There you
some
go.
Metallica, things like that. If I'm in a thinking mode, I'll lay back a little, man. I might do some like country soggy bottom boys.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But most of the time, it's rock. You get a good groove, things start coming together real quick.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I feel you. It's almost like it sets the tempo for whatever you're doing, right?
Exactly. You know what? When you got time to lay down, you do. When you need to thrash, you do. Why not put music that gives you that upbeat tempo to back what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I love it. No, okay, that's cool, man. If you had to pick 3 favorite bands, what are they?
I would say Metallica for sure, Pearl Jam, and Aerosmith.
Nice. Those are 3 really amazing historic bands for sure. I love Pearl Jam. Of course, I love Metallica. I've been listening to Metallica since Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, the old Metallica stuff. And, of course, Aerosmith. I mean, that's as good as classic rock as it gets, I mean, come on. Those are the guys.
It's still classic, but, you look how old that music is, and all of a sudden you see a 13-year-old there jamming to it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's timeless.
It is timeless. Yeah. And now they're using it it's funny because they have the show called Stranger Things. And I was listening to some old Metallica and my girls were singing this Metallica off Master of Puppets. And I'm like, how do you guys know Master of Puppets by Metallica? And they're like, oh, it's on Stranger Things. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah.
Exactly.
And so I watched Stranger Things and they're using a lot of cool old classic rock and metal in these shows. And these kids are watching it and they're getting turned on. And real quick, to that point, Soundgarden, you may or may not know Soundgarden, had a song called Black Hole Sun. Did you know it got back on the Billboard and went #1 because of the solar eclipse? Everybody was looking up music for the solar eclipse we had, and Black Hole Sun was the #1 pick song, and now it's like it made a resurgence back into the music community. So now Soundgarden's getting famous again, which is crazy.
There you go.
I love it.
It comes full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So hey, let's talk about your okay, so as everyone watching, a few weeks ago we talked about Drag Wars, and we talked about our Star Wars costume contest that we're going to have, and we're going to give some money away. And I had said, hey, I'm going to give $100 to somebody who can guess what I'm going to be. And so we kind of went through the whole thing, and Bruce guessed it correctly. He guessed that I was going to be Obi-Wan. So we went ahead and awarded Bruce with $100, and then we got an email back from Bruce and said that he wanted to use the $100 for something else. So Bruce, why don't you tell everybody what you'd like to do with your $100 that you won?
That's great. Well, let's start with saying, ADRL is still focused and growing, and I like their style, and I wanted to represent what they're trying to do in my own fashion. And I figured in the best possible way is the $100 that was given to me, I want to pay it forward. So in doing that, I kicked it around, and what I came up with is the $100 will go out to any racer that can cut a perfect light in competition and win their round. They will get that $100 that was promised to me. Like,
all right.
In Montgomery, if nobody hits the $100 and we can find some sponsors, I would love if somebody would match what I did and take it to the next race. Now,
okay,
$100 ain't much, but I have a feeling it's going to start to add up, and some racer is going to be rewarded that money for being that guy that time.
Yeah, amen. All right, so hey, we're going to mark it on the books there, Bruce. So that's what we're going to do, right? $100 to any racer, or no, $100 to a racer that cuts a perfect light and wins their round, right?
In competition, yes.
In competition, right. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to mark that down. And
if nobody does it in Montgomery, then roll it over, guys. It's money for the racers.
Froze up on us a little bit, Bruce. Can you hear us, buddy?
Yes, sir. I said, if nobody hits it in Montgomery, just roll it over, guys. Roll it over to the next race till somebody hits it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And maybe we could find someone to match as well. While we're down there, maybe we can get a couple other guys to throw in. If anybody else is interested and you're watching, if anybody's interested in sponsoring another $100 and matching Bruce's, we will throw that up for anybody that cuts a perfect light in competition and wins their round. So, I think that'd be great. And if nobody does, we'll snowball it into the next round. And that next race is going to be in Huntsville, Alabama for our Rocket City Drags. And that's going to be a pretty awesome race too. And if it doesn't happen there, then we're going to kick it on down the road to Ferris, Texas at Extreme Raceway Park. And we'll see if Clyde or somebody out there wants to run for it. So, Kyle Moore said he'll match it. All right. There's another $100. Well, now we're at 200. See, hey, you know what? This is good shit. I love this. I love this paying it forward stuff. Like we call it
like a start an avalanche.
We call it ROKES, right? Random acts of kindness.
Yes. And I'm just excited. I hope I can be there when somebody does hit it. That's a personal congratulation. You did everything right.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, no kidding, right? And it's not easy to cut a perfect light, even though I've done it with two hands at the same time. Ask Steve Wiley. I'm just kidding. A practice tree does not count at all whatsoever.
No.
ADRL is putting their money into the sport. I'm putting my money into them.
Amen, brother. Bruce, love you for that, man, for sure. And, we're going to keep growing this ADRL Nation. It's going to take folks like yourself and like us and everyone else who's diehard. I mean, we've gotten so much support, man, from a lot of big promoters, a lot of big racers, and I'm really digging it, man. So we'll keep rocking and rolling for you, Bruce, and we appreciate all your help. And I don't know what you'd like to do at the event, where you can help out, but, I have a feeling we can take some help. So, we'll stay in touch, and if something comes up, I'll let you know, man.
We'll figure it all out as we go, gentlemen.
All right, brother. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy Disneyland or Disney World, whichever you got there. And
yeah, I'm gonna go back and see my relatives, Pluto, Goofy, all them guys. Get back in touch with my roots.
Amen, man. Well, much love, Bruce. Thanks for joining, man. And we'll
have a great night, and we'll talk to you next podcast.
Yes, sir.
Good. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Peace and chicken grease, Bruce.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What a great dude.
About halfway through that whole thing, I realized I didn't just turn off my camera. I took myself out. So I'm sitting there talking to you in the middle of that and just getting nothing, just getting stonewalled back and forth. I'm like, what the hell?
Like, what a dick.
I'm putting on
not even answering
every connection. That's why I text you. I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, I was like, yeah, he's texting me. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I like this communication. It's easy. We can just text and not have to talk over the thing.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. Carter, you know him? That's cool, man.
He is a great guy. No doubt.
He really is a great guy. Yeah. Adam and Bruce hung out in the green room for about 15 minutes prior to going live and just talking. I was like, oh, look,
you know me, I'm a people person.
They're becoming buddies. That's great.
I'll just talk to any old person who walks up to me. So that's just my style.
That's right. Hey, I do want to real quick. I do want to drop another plug. The American Drag Racing League has become an official Burrow Max dealer. So on top of Renegade Racing Fuel. So a couple different things. If anybody needs a hookup on racing fuel, we've got a special program worked out with Renegade where you guys can get discounts on Renegade Racing Fuel through us, and we could talk about that later. However, Burrow Max as well, the electric pit bikes. If anybody's looking for a new pit bike or a new way to get around the pits, they're super awesome. They're small, they're powerful, they're peppy, they keep their charges forever. I just got one. I actually love mine so much that I get out there with a towel, a damn, what kind of towel is that? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I don't even give a shit. I clean it all the time because I like it. I enjoy it so much that I keep it clean.
I was picturing you tying it around your neck like a cape, driving around like a superhero. Where is he going?
I like it so much that I get big towels and tie them around my neck, act like Superman going through the subdivision.
You do you. Weirdo.
Like I'm always looking for excuses to drive it around. I can't wait to bring it down to Montgomery, cruise it around.
Yeah. Yep, that's gonna be fun.
Maybe we should get another one, Adam. We'll go down there and pick up another one.
All right.
That way you got some transportation as well.
Threaten me with a good time.
Don't threaten me with a good time. All right. Well, let's make this a double banger, shall we?
Yeah.
Man, so first off, this guy, I mean, I can't say enough about this guy other than like I genuinely love hanging out in his pits because he's one of the nicest dudes to just hang out and bullshit with. And he's always smiling. And even when it's full on chaos, you can't ever tell that shit's in chaos because he's just smiling, praying, and things are working out. So love the guy. I'm super glad we have him on with us here. Let's welcome Hollywood Hank Stubbs. There he is. What's up, Hank?
What up, dude?
How are you, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. Not as good as you are, man. I remember having kids, and when they were little, look, it's like a whole world of emotions, right? First off, congratulations on your baby girl.
Yes.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
She's you're blessed, brother. Happy, healthy baby. She's 2 weeks old now or so?
Yeah, almost 2 weeks old.
Yeah, and it's the joy of having them. Now, is this your first, second, third, 10th?
My second kid.
Okay, yeah. So it's the mixed emotions of being super excited and at the same time you're like, oh, and you're not getting any sleep and you're taking turns and
there's no sleep at my house at all. So we have a 5-year-old son and he's great, kind of self-sufficient now. He pretty much, he does whatever he wants to do. And we started the cycle over again 5 years later. I don't know what we were thinking.
You were thinking, hey man, there's no better time than now.
Yeah, that's right. Nah, it's a blessing. Honestly, we wasn't planning on it. We wasn't planning on the first one. It just happened, and God has a time for everything. And
amen.
Hey, it worked out perfect,
Yeah, that's fantastic, brother. Well, again, dude, congratulations. And what's cool about having kids in that distance, it's like, yeah, they might be 4 or 5 and they might seem kind of independent, but once you have that baby and they realize they're kind of on their own doing their own thing, they really become independent real quick, right? It's like they're like, oh, this is great. Like I'm gonna go sneak off and do this while they seem like they're busy. And before you know it,
I can't tell you, my son has been so good through this whole process. So the first time we told him we were going to have a little girl, he just cried his eyes out. He was just
really,
yeah, he just couldn't stand it. And we kind of told him, I was like, hey man, look, you remember he has a little nephew, and or I have a nephew, it's his little cousin. And I told him, I was like, man, you remember when Taylor was being born? Like, it was just the end of the world. And now he's 1 year old and y'all were playing buddies and everything's great. I was like, it's going to be the same way. And ever since I've told him that, he's been the best big brother. He checked on mom all through the pregnancy. As soon as baby sister got here, he was the first one to see her, and he's been taking care of her. And if she's crying, he goes over there and, shh, baby sister, I'm here. And she's immediately.
That's enough to make you tear up, man, watching that kind of interaction.
It's really cool. It is.
It's as good as it gets. Like, that is the epitome of being a human being, I think. That is like...
Yeah, it's a true blessing. I've had a lot of great things happen in my life, and the Lord's blessed me in a lot of different ways, but no greater blessing than that. I mean, having kids, I tell people, it's like winning an NHRA Wally times 1,000. There's no greater feeling than that,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And I know it's like, just me personally, I have a daughter who's about to turn 21, and then my next oldest is 10, and then 9, and then 7. Right. So it's like, and people are like, dude, you're having kids and like you're in your 40s. I'm like, yeah, that's right, dude. Yeah. And they're like, are you done? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, good Lord's going to tell me. I don't know what's going to happen, dude. This is what's great about it.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Looking at you, brother, and this just always goes to my head. Like, I notice in your neck, right? Like, I notice in your neck, like you look ripped. When I see you, I'm like, that dude's pretty fit, right? And I notice that a lot of guys are like, I think of Bubba, right? Because Bubba's a stout little dude. I don't mean little. I mean, he's not a little dude, but
yeah, like, you said it.
Well, I mean, he's not 6 foot tall. He's like as tall as me. I feel like I'm short, and we're probably about the same height. He's probably like 5'6", or 5'7", something like that. But he's built. And when I see you, man, I'm like, he's built. And I just notice a lot of guys are like built when they're, I don't know if it's lugging motors and turning wrenches, or it's the running around. You don't have time to eat, and you're just like, whatever. However, a lot of people may not know this, and I just want to point it out. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. But tell everybody how much weight you've lost in the past handful of years,
or how good at Photoshop you are.
Really good at Photoshop because it works in person. 140 pounds total.
140 pounds total, dude. So at one point you weighed how much?
Over 300 pounds. To be, I was 305 probably when I stepped on the scales. But, I kind of had to work my way up to that point. So I had already lost a little bit because I was too embarrassed to even get on them. And Bubba, it's funny you mentioned Bubba. Bubba's one of the guys, and John Sullivan. I've always been an underdog. So it's crazy now. I'm not the kid of the sport anymore. I still feel like it, but I ran my first national event in 2013, I think. So I'm over 10 years of a national event racer and longer than that running local stuff. But when Bubba showed up and John started showing up to local races, they had these super lightweight cars. And I complained to my dad, like, man, our car's heavy. We need to do this. We need to do that. Well, that means money, titanium and carbon fiber and expensive stuff, or a brand new chassis that costs $250,000. Well, I couldn't afford any of that, but I could afford to quit eating. So it's Bubba's fault, John Sullivan's fault. They're the reason I'm so skinny. I had to quit eating to get down to their weight.
So you killed two birds with one stone. Not only did you get faster,
I'm healthier and faster.
You're healthier, you're faster. Well, and on top of that, you kind of mitigated any extra expenses from your budget for your food budget at your house.
I couldn't afford to eat as good, So
you're like, we're gonna live on ramen noodles and hot dogs and bologna and beans.
I don't do ramen noodles. My days, those are from the party in college.
Oh, I know, right? Mad Dog and ramen noodles. That's about all you needed to something to drink and eat.
I'm long past those days. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, amen, brother. So how's the car coming along? I know last time we were in each other's presence. We were at South Georgia Motorsports Park. You had a hell of a couple days ride. You were at Fuel Tech, blew a motor, did something to it, and while it was still on the dyno, you managed to throw a whole new drive. I think you put a whole new drivetrain, or at least a new motor in it while it was on the dyno still. I think he shocked everybody down there. At least that's what Luis told me. He was like, dude, I've never seen no shit like that. I was like, I mean, that's pretty awesome. And you know, and then that long drive, and you showed up overnight, and you were working on it that day. And I mean, you know, I know it was a little bit of a roller coaster, but you stuck around, and I appreciate that, brother. You still stuck around for the weekend. So where are we at now? How's the car looking?
So we're good. So we're working on our motor program. And one reason that situation all came about, I'm real good friends with Luis, all the guys at Fuel Tech. They're a great group of guys.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Man, to have them as a sponsor for y'all, that's huge because they really are the best people in the industry.
I feel the same way, brother. I feel the same way.
So I sold my main motor. So it's out of the picture. So I put my spare motor in the car, and my fingers and toes didn't go high enough. I forgot to count runs on the crankshaft, I guess.
Oh.
So we actually ended up breaking a crankshaft on the Fuel Tech dyno.
You
so
broke
we're down
the crankshaft. Holy shit.
Yeah, it broke 6 of the 8 rods in the motor.
Holy cow.
So
I mean, that's not a little break. That's like catastrophic. No. It's over.
Catastrophic. It was really bad. So the guys at Fuel Tech were good enough, man. They were like, hey, look, whatever you need, the shop's open. So they brought a forklift around. My guys were great. Snatched a motor out of the trailer. We went to the third. So this is the backup to the backup.
Right. This is your third string.
We went to our third string motor, got it in the game, made a short run with it. By this point, it's kind of the end of the day. I was like, hey, look, we got to get to South Georgia or they're going to lock the gate on us. So we hauled down there, and unfortunately, we got everything ready and tried to make a test pass and broke the rear end housing.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Just kind of ended our weekend. Unfortunately, that car that I have is a little bit older. The one that I'm running for a guy now. It's actually brand new. It's never raced.
It's never raced. Yeah, you told me he kind of had it sitting and.
Yeah, he had it. It's been at different chassis shops. It's been all around the world. It's a super good. It's a Bickle car, so it's like the best in the industry, but it's old. And I think back then when he had it built, maybe they used a mild steel housing. I don't know. Something happened. So this is the second time it broke. The first time we ever tried to run the car, it broke. I fixed it. My repair lasted about 5 passes. So, but now a new guy that I just got introduced to that has turned out to be super great to work with, Marty Marilette, Marilette Racing. He jumped on board with us. Was like, hey man, you need to go racing. Knock me out of rear end, and it's going to be here Monday.
Oh dang! So you're getting a whole new rear end fabricate, huh?
And it is super pretty, man. He posted pictures of it. It is a gorgeous piece of artwork. So what he did was awesome. Beautiful work.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Nothing better. Look, I'm not to the level of racing. Actually, racing. I've never on the track. Sounds one day. Done a lot of street racing growing up. You got this cup that I just had the whole bag done on because it's a weekend warrior, but I just want to take it to the midnight mass. Go right ahead. But Bickle and Beelman, to tell you, man, Bickle, those dudes did a serious on this rear end. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the welds on it. I'm like, are you sure this thing like machine welded? Like, no, man, this is hand done, you know. So better than getting that rear end put in and it's all nice and new. You're like, oh god, that looks so good. It's my first experience.
Yeah, it feels so good and it's nice. And he did a great job, man. It's a beautiful. And actually, like, this thing is so pretty. The powder coat that we're doing on the rear, the whole car is powder coated gray and red paint, obviously. And the rear end was so gorgeous when he got done with it. It's powder coated clear, so that you don't cover welds and stuff. It's gorgeous, man. A gorgeous piece.
I didn't even know you could do I mean, I don't know why. I guess maybe I'd never thought about it. I had never thought about doing a clear powder coat.
I don't know why every chassis on the planet is not clear powder coated. Because when I'm telling you this rear end is sexy, it is sexy. Like,
yeah, I mean, all you got to do is just kind of wipe it off, and it just stays nice and shiny.
See all the color in the welds. It's really, really cool.
You're gonna be like
the other company that jumped on board and helped me a bunch. I got their merch on right now. Jeremy with Brad Anderson. I called him up. I was like, hey man, I need a block repaired, and he was like, nah, don't worry about it. He's like, I'll send you a brand new one. So
get out of here. Are you serious?
he had one on the shelf. It was just my lucky day. So it was everything that I needed, exactly the deck height, the cam size, the lifter journals. There's a lot of stuff that had to line up, and he had it sitting there. So
hey man, big man's looking out for you, brother. You know what that means? That means that Sullivan's got some he's got to look over his shoulder, bro.
Y'all are gonna have to like fill me in on what's been going on, because the last I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even a month, I've kind of been out of it. We've been in the baby world. So I hear that like Bubba and Clyde have like a NyQuil sponsorship now.
It seems that way.
Is like running the outlaw world. I don't know what's going on. Y'all got to fill me in. I've been out of the picture for a minute.
No, you hit it right on the head. Bubba and Clyde do have a NyQuil sponsorship, and their ads are pretty awesome. Seen them going around.
That's why I've seen the memes, and I was like, man, NyQuil, that's a big sponsorship. You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's thinking out of the box.
The rich get richer. You know,
that's how they do it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've forged alliances with BlackRock, and now they're getting sponsored by cereal and NyQuil and maybe Pepto-Bismol per se. Yeah. But yeah, so hey man, Sullivan walked out with it, brother, and then Clyde, you know, he had a little post race, I don't know, video you want to say, and it was pretty damn funny, man. Like, you know, even though he got whooped up on a little bit, he was just still throwing some shade.
He was adding a little more water to that lake.
Clyde really all those guys. Clyde is such a character.
Clyde don't care.
Good hard racer, and like nothing phases him. Like
man,
he goes out and runs good. Nothing seems to water just rolls off his back, you know. So
he's hard as nails, dude. That dude's something else, man. Look, I know some hard ass cats, and not just in the civilian world, but just from prior military too. And you would almost think Clyde was prior military, dude. He's a hard ass dude. He's got some. Yep. You could tell he's got the street smarts. Wherever he's been, you could just tell. You could tell Clyde's been around, man. I got a handful of buddies that he reminded me exactly of. So yeah, you know, he gets out there, he does his thing, and he's still going to talk shit, and I love it. So
yeah, he don't care. It don't bother him a bit. See, I'm the opposite. I don't talk a lot of crap, because when I go out and embarrass myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm this tall. Clyde's 10 foot tall and bulletproof, whether he wins or loses.
Yeah, he is, right?
Which is the right attitude to have, man. It doesn't matter. We're out there having fun, and it brings a lot of publicity to our sport, which is great. That's one reason Street Outlaws is so big right now. It's just because those guys get on there and talk crap about each other, you know, and they don't let it get personal. They don't talk about their family or this or that. Right. They're just talking smack. It's like the WWE, the WWF.
Damn right.
I tell people we're more like the UFC. You know, this is a real fight.
This is a real fight.
This is a real fight, but we're going to get on there and kind of jab each other. And John, man, congratulations to them. That's a hard-working group of guys. You know how farmers are. They're all rich, but they're hard workers. They got there honestly. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah.
It's well-deserved for them. So I'm proud for them.
Yeah, amen. It kind of reminds me of the Scruggs, kind of the same way, you know.
Yeah, just, you know, rich but hardworking, you know, those type of guys. You know, us underdogs. We're just here to see what we can do. We're eating the scraps under the table.
Oh, that's funny as hell, man. So it sounds like you're getting your whip put back together here pretty quick, man. So you know, I mean, if God wills it, hopefully, maybe you'll be at Montgomery, man. I'll say some prayers, because we'd love to have you there. You know, if not, totally understand.
Mama's already given me the blessings. She said, as long as baby's doing good and she still feels as good as she does now, I can go. So it's just find time in the shop to make sure I can get all the nuts and bolts turned and everything. And something I'll tell a lot of people, and this is super inside information. Nobody knows this.
Okay. Other than the 30,000 people.
Well, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like, I'm a
Are you really?
Star Wars freak. Yeah, I love everything. I watch The Mandalorian, all of the spinoff shows. I watch them all. I love it. And May the 5th is my birthday.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's right. It is.
It's like lined up perfect. The stars are aligning. This is mine, you know?
All right. So are we guessing what you're going to be? Are you going to be a part of the costume? Everybody knows I'm going to be over.
Hopefully my son will come. I'll let him dress up. He's got some Star Wars lightsabers.
Oh man, come on, order a costume. I'm gonna be Obi-Wan. I'm gonna, hey, it's all right. I'm gonna do my Obi-Wan costume. I'm gonna comb my hair over because now that I've got gray, I could be Obi-Wan, right? So it's like,
right. You're older. Yeah, my beard still. I could be like the first movie Obi-Wan. You know what I'm saying? I could be like first, second generation Obi-Wan.
You could, yeah, for sure. Or maybe, no, Obi-Wan would be good. Yeah. Obi-Wan would be good, and then maybe we could get. Let's see if maybe the Thompson brothers show up. We can get one of them to be Calrissian.
Oh yeah,
Lando Calrissian. God, I love that. That was who played Lando? That was
Billy Dean Williams.
Yeah.
Was it Billy Dean Williams played Lando?
Oh yeah, Colt 45 and Lando. What a career.
Oh, got you. That's right. I was thinking it was the one singer. All night long.
It's not Lionel Richie.
Oh. Yeah, excuse me for that. That's
No, you're fine.
pretty ridiculous.
Had us all dancing on the ceiling for a second there.
You know what's great though, man, is that it should be a pretty amazing turnout, brother. You know, my main focus is not only to make sure that we're putting on events and having a spot for some outlaw pro mods to come running and have a great time and not to be all, high wound and crazy, just so like a laid back, fun environment for the competitors, for the teams, and just make it what I would imagine, if I was a racer and what I expect, just because being a musician, you kind of have the same expectations when you go do a show at different venues, right? Like you just kind of have some expectations and sometimes they suck and sometimes it's a really great time. So, we really want it to be a good time for you guys. And on top of that, we're really looking to bring the spectators for you guys as well in return for the spectators.
It's always funner to run and win and do good in front of fans, man. That's
right.
Doesn't matter what it pays. If there's 100,000 people there to watch you, it's great. And the ADRL for the majority of its life has been that. So that's one reason I'm looking forward to what you guys are doing. I've been fortunate enough to run a lot of different sanctioning bodies, from NHRA to some other competitors of y'all's.
Yeah.
I'm not talking smack about anybody. I love all of them. The racing is super good anywhere you go now.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many racers and it's so competitive, whether it's rules or not rules. But there's no other sanctioning body that cares about the racer. And I don't mean that like harshly, like that they don't care. It's just that they put it all on the racer. Well, you got $100,000 in this car. You should pay this and this and this and this and race for pennies. Well, that kind of like, that's back to the UFC, WWE type deal. Like your show should get paid.
That's right.
And I really strongly believe that. Like I feel like we bring the show without racers. There's no venue, there's no racetracks, there's no sanctioning bodies, there's nothing.
You got it, brother.
I feel like the guy that wins the race should get paid, but even like the last qualifier should get paid,
Yeah.
So that's one reason I'm trying hard to support you guys, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to grow. I think it's going to do good. I'm excited. The Huntsville race, the Montgomery race, the Texas race, that's outlaw country, baby.
Amen.
That's where we all live. So like some of this other crap up in the Carolinas and off in the Midwest, they have their own sanctioning bodies. The Southeast needs its own deal. And, I think the ADRL is great for it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. We're going to give it hell and we're going to bring the spectators. So as you know, we went from, as a new owner, new promoter, I've got to not only look at it from a racer standpoint, but of course look at from, a business model standpoint and trying to think of how do we get profitable sooner than later without relying on sponsorships, which at this point, because we don't have huge spectator crowds, how do you get sponsorships and how do you get, and it's like this whole chicken or the egg fucking thing, right? So the way I'm looking at it is like the most important thing, first and foremost, is full 16 car fields and in return, full stands. And we're going back to the free spectator entry. So, and we're plowing the radios with it. We're doing, I think, 14 or 15 different radio stations between Birmingham, Montgomery, and Columbus, Georgia. We're pounding it with 2 weeks worth of Drag Wars commercials on the radio, and we're going to have them come out to the track and be live. And we're going to and we're telling them, hey, it's a free spectator event, come, because I think that does a lot of things. Not only does it put spectators in front of you guys, but then they also get to experience it. Probably a lot of folks have never been to a drag race, and you guys get to really turn them on to a world of just fucking awesomeness. But then, hopefully in return, you guys can sell some merchandise. You get people in the pits, like checking out your cars. And I think it's just this whole big ball of synergy. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. We'll see how this Montgomery event goes. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback. So I'm getting pretty excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good, man. I think it's the right spot for it. I think what you're doing, like, it is tough, man. I wish being a promoter or a racetrack owner owned nobody. It's probably the hardest job in the industry. And trying to figure it out, it's like, man, you do something one time and it works phenomenally.
Yeah.
The next time you do it, it's like, man, what happened? This is the same recipe and it didn't bake the same cake. Like,
that's right. So, that's a great analogy, man.
So sometimes it's like the time of year, the weather, anything can affect it. Like, I know South Georgia, some guys were kind of disappointed, but like, man, the weather forecast leading up to that was almost 100% rain for every day for all.
Yep, it sure was.
And anybody with a rig that's going to have to drive 10, 12 hours to get there, they got to look at like, hey, man, the $1,000 in diesel fuel I'm going to spend, I'm not getting it back one way or the other. That's right. So I think that plays a lot into the amount of cars that were there. I think it plays into the amount of spectators that were there. And it's just something that's hard to foresee, and on your guys' behalf, like, you wanted to have the race. You wanted the racers to show up and race, and you didn't want to cancel on all of us. Like, you tried to the bitter end. And I think that says a lot about what you guys are about and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. The no quit attitude is it'll go a long way.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, brother. And to your point, it's, I had a lot of racers reaching out, and I'm going to tell you, man, I looked every single day, every hour, and I was like, man, I don't know, like, I can't, the last thing I want is, I don't want the racers driving out and then we cancel the event, but maybe if they know we're still having the event, they'll show up, and it's like going to the percentage is going up and then it's going down. And it's like, I got to know by Thursday. And man, just
it was our first event.
Yeah. As a promoter, as the promoter and owner, it was my very first event. And I want to tell you, we had the whole kitchen sink and everything thrown at us, which was pretty awesome. But, I wouldn't
trial by fire, baby.
Trial by fire, baby. Yeah, that's right. Trial by fire. So, you learn these things, and it's very, to your point, it's very stressful as a promoter, especially that week leading up. Like, I haven't checked the weather. I know there's at least 3 or 4 websites right now that'll give me some kind of forecast for that weekend. And I'm not even looking right now.
It's pointless. This far out, I've been doing it for 15 years now, I guess. And you try to predict the weather, and the weathermen are trying to predict the weather, and there's no way. Nobody knows.
No.
Literally, the best thing to do is look at the rock that morning when you wake up. If the rock's wet, you're not racing. If it's dry, you're going racing. That's just
that's great, dude. We'll call it the racing rock.
Racing rock. Like, if it's twirling around in the air, there's a tornado. Don't go outside. That's about the only way you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. If it's missing, we've got bigger problems.
That's right. Like,
oh man, that's
part of the trial by fire of running races and running racetracks. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It's the hardest job. And the other thing, you have to deal with a bunch of guys like me, a bunch of crybabies. Like, we want this,
bro. I love you guys though, man. No, seriously. Like, it's I love you guys. You're like my people, right? Because again, I don't drag race, but I grew up from a lineage of musicians and engineers, right? So when I was a little kid, my dad was building go-karts with like 600cc motorcycle motors on them with a handle shifter, and we're like 5-6 years old, and he's like, just pull the lever and shift it as you're going. And and we're like running into buildings, breaking arms, getting stitches, building crazy shit. And so, it's like, it's just that mentality, and and from a musician standpoint, when you get addicted to doing something, you have a band and a group of guys that you work together to make this final result, this end thing,
accomplish
a goal, right? Exactly, right. And you're all you're all in the you're all in the crucible together, forging this relationship and this camaraderie in this team. And and you're in the trenches and you're in the shit together, and you win some, you lose some, but it's just that whole camaraderie. And I think that's why I love the community so much, man, because everybody is so real. Like, everybody is real. Everybody's there to help you, and everybody's there to win, and everybody is there on the same mission, right? And I hope I'm articulating it the right way, but I mean, you can feel it. I may not be able to articulate it properly, but you can just feel it, man. And people love it, dude. People fucking love it.
The family of the racetrack, the family within each crew. Like, I've got the opportunity to meet a lot of these guys, their crew guys, their families. Cause literally, like, everybody's like me. My mom, my dad go, my wife, my kids. Like, it's literally a family affair for us. And if you go to all these teams, it's that way, man. Their aunt or their uncle or their sister or somebody, maybe a crew guy on their car, their cousins are there. Like,
yeah,
it's just a big family, and everybody's super nice, And the cool thing is, like, I've had the opportunity to go to a bunch of these radio races lately because a bunch of the guys that I race with radio race now, that I keep up their cars and go help them with stuff.
Well, their season's about over right now that it's summer.
Yeah. So basically, it's past 70 degrees, so the radio tire's done for the year. So now it's time to bring out the real men.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So we can get some racing started now. But no, that debate's going to be long. The small tire, in my opinion, is just as cool as the big tire. There's a lot of ups and downs to both of them. They're both fun. They're both a blast to watch. They're both a blast to drive. It's just apples and oranges, Sure. I call them the tractor drags because you see more of the tractor than you do the cars. Right. You got to work on the racetrack, And then there's the other end of the spectrum with the no prep deal where they don't work on the racetrack and junk gets tore up all the time because of it. So
right.
I feel like we're kind of a happy medium between enough of the tractor and enough of the race car that everything's smooth,
That's funny. I put a meme out that said, save a tractor, ride a slick tire.
Yeah. That's basically the truth, man. The first time I went to a duck race in South Georgia, I took my dad with me, and my dad is a very no nonsense kind of. And the first thing out of his mouth at the end of day one was he was like, "The tractors are nice here. I've seen them a lot." Yeah, that's pretty much what we watched the tractor the whole time. But the radial tire is cool, man. It's just one of those things. Prime conditions. The radial tire can set the world on fire, and it's really, really cool to see what they do with that thing. And I've had the opportunity to drive a car for a guy for the last couple of years with radial tires on it. And I've been fortunate enough that my experience on a big tire won me a lot of rounds because Duck will run qualifying on Saturday night, but then eliminations are on Sunday morning and the sun's shining. So all of these tune them up, throw it out the window, knock the
Saturday night guys.
The Saturday night guys on Sunday morning, they're scratching their head wondering why they're up in smoke, and we went 3/10 lower than them, but won. So, it's fun to go do, man. It really is. You can make it go down the racetrack. You just got to slow it down. And those guys they call us the big stick guys at some of the local tracks, but those guys carry the big stick, and they go to the starting line with that big stick tune-up every time.
Oh, yeah, just light them up.
Yeah, and they just light the tires up at the starting line. And it's like, man, you can pull the reins back a little bit. You can go down the racetrack and race smart. And there's some of those guys that are getting that figured out. So now that they've kind of got a little series, it's been interesting to watch.
Luis, I made a post not long ago and I think everybody was taking it not wrong, but it was kind of left open for interpretation. And from a promoter standpoint, it was great because it was getting a lot of response. But I had put on like, hey, why don't we just let radials join the outlaw pro mod class, and the pro extreme class? And everybody's like, oh, the track prep and this, and you can't do that. And I just was sitting back like, oh, this is funny. I should have known these were going to be the responses because I had somebody reach out to me and said, hey, in December, we're going to be racing some radial race, and we don't have time to throw some slicks on it and do some testing. So we're going to come straight from there. And we'd like to come to Ferris at XRP and run on radials. And you don't have to change anything. We're just going to be the dumb ones that show up with some radial tires and see if we can do anything. And I was like,
he may not be that dumb because, from what I've been to Texas a couple of times now, and it is a curveball. It's a completely different racetrack.
It is.
Man, that thing is good. Like Rhea Clyde, hands down to him and Galen and those
Oh
guys.
yeah.
They know what they're
That
doing.
is the premier racetrack. And I've told those guys a couple of times since I've been in the radio game, I was like, hey, look, somebody shows up over here with a 2,300-pound RVW car, and you guys are all in trouble because they could go right down Broadway. This thing is better than South Georgia ever dreamed of being on race. Like, I'm telling you, they'll be in trouble. A radial tire, in my opinion, is faster than a big tire.
You
I'm
know,
a big
and
tire guy. I love them. They go down the racetrack more often, but a radial tire is faster. And I think there's a couple of reasons to that. I don't know if I'm scientifically explain it, but
I'm a very analytical person, right? I have very good critical thinking skills. That's where my set is. That's what I've mastered. That's my jam. Anyways. And I've always wondered, I've heard that debate between radial tires and slick tires, and I didn't know because I never was a drag racer and had the privilege of running either one of them, right? So my question was my question, and I asked a lot of people, and a lot of feedback I was getting radial tires are faster, and I was like, okay, why? And essentially the feedback I've gotten is because the sidewalls are a lot stiffer. They don't give per se, and like with the slick tire, and correct me if I'm wrong, a slick tire requires some spin to make it down the track, and that's why you have your wheelie bars that kind of bounce the tire off the concrete to kind of get it to spin a little bit so you can take off. But the radial tires don't have that amount of give, and the sidewalls are stiffer, and so that's why they tune them the hell up and hope that the track is nice and sticky, because they don't expect to spin. They expect to hook up with no give and just rock it down the track. So
with my little pea brain, to explain it the best that I can, is what you're describing on a big tire is wheel speed, and we require wheel speed. And essentially, the faster wheel speed you can have without spinning the tire too much to where it goes up into smoke or shakes, the faster we can go. A radial tire is the opposite. You want to have wheel speed, but it has to be stuck to the racetrack. So you're right. We use anything from tire pressure to wheelie bar to horsepower to make it spin the tire.
Yes.
The reason that I think the radial tire does a better job of going faster is that it is better at using a well-prepared racetrack. So literally, if the racetrack is perfect and the conditions are good, the radial tire can just use more of the racetrack than the big tire can. And in my opinion, that's just the reason that it's faster. They've done some stuff like, everybody's went to this wide beadlock wheel now, and that essentially stiffens the sidewall in a slick. So that gives us kind of that same advantage, not quite the same, but the same principle applies. And it sped the big tire up early, but it doesn't speed it up any out the back.
So let me see if I sorry to interrupt. So let me just see if I get you. So you're saying a wider beadlock slick. You're saying the beadlock area where the rim is locked in, where the tire's locked into the rim, they've raised that to
No. The actual wheel itself. So instead of being a 16 by 16 that we ran for years, now we run like a 16 by 18. So it's an
18-inch tire.
So think about like your little Honda guys that used to do the stance with the stretch tire fitment.
Yes.
So essentially, we did that to a slick. We just stretched the sidewalls out to stiffen them up. So it shortens the tire.
I got you. So there's not so much sidewall sticking out. The sidewall has been kind of brought in
and stiffened up. We used to run aligners, which did the same thing. Aligners just like a wheel inside of, or tire inside of a tire to stiffen it up. So it's kind of been out there for a while. The problem with the liner is it's heavy. It adds like 22 pounds to the car.
They are pretty heavy. I have liners in my Cutlass, actually, and I didn't really know what they were for. I was like, why am I putting fucking inner tubes in a slick? This doesn't make any sense.
So that stiffens up the sidewall. That's what it's for. And it's just heavier. So the wider beadlock does a better job. And it won't be long. Everything goes to the extreme. Like now in sanctioning bodies, so most NHRA, that type of deal, you can only run an 18 wide now. That's the rule. But there's some crazy guys out there, some Frankie Taylors of the world, if you will, that are going to 20s and 21s.
Oh, shit. No way. Really?
Yeah. So at some point, either the slick is going to have to get bigger or the cars are going to have to get narrower. Something's going to have to happen because they're going to get crazy and they're going to figure this thing out. I've always said if they would make a 33-inch tall drag radial, that would be like the prime. It would go down anything and it would be crazy fast. Just trying to figure out how to get that big slick built and make it not crazy heavy. That would be the way to do it. It's just a monster radial.
I think I have a 33-inch tire. Or no, maybe mine's a 31.
Yeah, they make them in a 33, but they're all 33 by like 13 wide. We need like a 33 by 18 wide. So like
I see what you're saying.
Look like a big tire.
Yeah, I got you.
Monster radial. I think that is going to be in the future one day.
A big monster radial tire.
Just a monster radial tire. I think that'll be the way of the future one day.
Why don't we start it? Why doesn't the ADRL we start making our own shit, man? I mean, I
have these great ideas, but I have no budget to back it up. So like I can't call up Mickey Thompson and say, "Hey, build me this thing because I want it," and it doesn't care what it costs.
Hey, let's call it the Hollywood tire.
That's right, the Hollywood tire, the big monster radial, and I think it's going to be crazy fast. And one day I think guys will be on that, but you never know, and things come and go in waves. And the radial tire deal has been around long enough now that it's kind of its own deal. It's like the no prep. It's kind of evolved into its own little. It's got its own followers. It's got its own group of people that like to run it. It really is a cool deal, and I don't knock on them, but I do like to pick at them a little bit.
Oh, for sure. And hey, there's all that good, it's all that good banter going back and forth. Donald Long's good at talking shit on everybody, and it's super fun. And then you got like Stevie Fast and all those
That's
dudes.
One of those guys, like Donald Long will talk trash with the best of them, but if you meet Donald Long in person, he is
super nice dude.
Really
dude, I'll tell you, man, and actually I did. So we were at the Lights Out. Yeah, I almost said US Street National or the Shakedown National. We were at Lights Out at SGMP because I wanted to go see the track prior to our event. And I saw Donald and I was like, "Oh, hey, Donald's running." He's like, "Oh, man." He's like, "I've been wanting to meet you, dude." He's like, "Oh, come over here. And so we went in the back of a trailer and we literally talked for almost 2 hours, man. And it was like, and I'd say about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way to it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. Just, he was like, "Hey, look, I've been talking to you for about an hour and a half. I'm a pretty good judge of character." I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I am too." And he goes, and I like you, man. I believe in what you're doing. He goes, and I want to help you, bro. He's like, because we get you up back on plane and get you over that hill. And, and we're bringing it back. And he goes, "Dude, who knows what the future holds? We could do some shit together and really make just a really crazy event." And I was like, "Bro, that's what I'm talking about. I've been talking about that." Like, yes, exactly. And, and shit. So he was even sharing stuff, people are like, "Dude, Donald doesn't ever share anybody's stuff." And he's like, "The fact that he's sharing your events is pretty awesome." And I said, "Hi, hey, yeah, I like the guy." So to your point, just one of the coolest, nicest, down to earth guys, but he can flip that switch pretty quick and get into shit talking mode pretty easy.
He is the king of trash talk, man. He really is. And he's hands down the best promoter in the game right now. Nobody can take that away from him. He packs the stands. I give him crap all the time. It's like, it doesn't take 7 days to run an event, Donald. Like, we don't have to be down here. Like, this is ridiculous. But
and 15 gallons of glue.
Right, to his point,
barrels.
He makes money every day, and the stands are packed from Monday to freaking Sunday. So hats off to him, man. He's doing his thing, and he's got guys that race with him that can take off that amount of time to race a couple of times a year. So
yeah, right.
I hats off to him. I think it's really cool. I think he's done a good thing. But to what you guys are doing, to have the what I call the working man, the working class back in racing, I think that's really important. Get back to its roots, guys like Scotty Cannon, the real legends of the sport that really grew up, and Jason Scruggs, those type of guys that they have real jobs. I don't know. I was poking fun at Jason being rich earlier, but Jason is probably the smartest, most hardworking individual that you could ever meet. The guy builds houses and has a farm and a storefront, and they're the largest John Deere dealer in the world, like all these crazy things. So he's got so many irons in the fire. For him to take off to go racing is like huge. He's shutting down, multiple things that he's got on his plate to go do that. And that's the way he's always raced, and that's the way he's always worked. So for those guys to get to go race with you, to put an event on in 2 days, that's what we need in racing. Like, we need to be able to show up, qualify, run the event, and go home. It doesn't have to take 7-8 days to get an event in.
Amen. And in my mind, that's exactly what is geared towards, because, you know, I fall into that category too, right? I mean, I have kids, they have school, you know, I've got to work from home. Adam works. My mom, she's retired, but she still works, you know? And so in my mind, it's like, shit, all these guys are working, you know. Yes, I have to do something on Friday because we can't do it all on Saturday, but at least what we can do is bring everybody in, do some test and tune on Fridays, you know, do some qualifying rounds Friday night, get in there on Saturday, knock it out, and be done by 9 o'clock. Because my goal is to be done by 9 o'clock on Saturday night, be done with the winner's circle, be done payouts, all that's finished. And then I want to go to the pits and like sing Kumbaya. We can all like hang out and eat and have a good time, you know, and then we at least it's that part of the event where then we get to hang out and socialize and meet and everything. And I don't want to be up till no one wants to be up till 3 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning doing winner circle stuff or being there for 5 or 6 days. You know, it's done. We had a good night. We all might be a little hungover Sunday morning. That's fine. We get to sleep in a little bit, but then we're waking up, we're hitting the road, and hopefully everybody can be home by Sunday night, right? And then their week's on to it.
No, man, I think it's perfect. And like where you guys are racing, for me, I'm going to be at church on Sunday morning because Montgomery's 2 hours, Huntsville's like an hour and 40 minutes. Like,
oh, no way, really?
Yeah, you're in the heart of me. I'm in Birmingham, so literally,
I'm
back in the middle of it.
What radio station you listen to in Birmingham?
WZZK is probably it's got Rick and Bubba on it. And
yeah, we're running the ads. We're doing radio commercials on their on that one. 3 other ones. I forgot the.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of them.
Network.
To be honest with you, radio stations for me, I'm in a tool truck all day and there's tools clanking and banking. Guys are in and out of the truck. So I turn it on Rick and Bubba in the morning just because I like those guys, but I don't get to listen to a lot of radio, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Speaking of which, that's a great segue into my segment here. Segue into the segment. So I do a segment called In the Groove. And what this segment is about is music, because, you know, I love music. I breathe music. You know, it just was a part of my life growing up. Doesn't matter if you're going to church, singing in your church choir, or if you're growing up listening to your parents' records, right? Like for me, it's kind of part of life. So with that being said, if you listen to music, which I imagine you probably do, what are you listening to if you're in the shop working on a car, or you're in the pits, or what are you listening to kind of get your juices flowing, or what are you listening to in general? What you got going on these days?
So it's pretty cliche to say that I listen to everything, but
That's
I
all
do.
right, me too.
I do. Obviously, I'm a big Christian. I'm a God-fearing man.
Amen.
I love a lot of the new Christian rock bands, a lot of the new Christian rap bands that are out. A guy that I catch myself listening to a ton is NF, and I don't know if you know who NF is.
Not offhand.
He's basically a white rapper.
I've heard other people talking about this guy, actually.
He's a Christian rapper, but he's not a Christian rap artist. So that's odd to say, but he just doesn't cuss. He doesn't talk about selling drugs. He doesn't talk about, he really talks more about mental health than like,
it's clean.
He's been through depression and he was abused as a kid, but you just have to go listen to his stuff, man.
Is he all tatted up?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No tattoos, super clean cut looking young kid, but his music is just awesome.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
I catch myself listening to NF a lot, but I'm also like a Tyler Childers fan. I like a lot of that kind of country, but to get me in the groove, like when I'm in the pits, especially from like my younger days, I listen to Saliva, Shinedown, Either. Those are probably my big 3 that I listen to the most. My Pandora station stays on 2000s rock probably more than anything.
That's all good stuff, dude. So that's all good stuff.
That's kind of what I grew up on. So I'm a big Shinedown fan. I'm a big
Puddle of Mud. Who else was back there? Oh yeah,
Alice in Chains. I'm a big Alice fan. All those guys, man. Any rock band like that, I really like. But I can listen to anything. I can turn it on new hip hop and find something that I like. I can turn it on and find something that I like. I'll listen to any of it.
No, that's good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. It's interesting to me sometimes when you ask somebody that question, or you're just a general conversation, they go, well, I don't listen to music. That's wait, what? And they're like, yeah, no, I don't. I just don't listen to music. I don't know. I just don't. And I'm like, wow, like what has happened in your lifetime where you don't even ever listen to music? What even is that?
That's AI.
That's
A
AI.
robot.
Yeah, that's not a real person. That's
It's Terminator.
That's a non-character player or
Yeah,
whatever. NPC or whatever. That's not a real person. That's a drone from the government.
NPC.
Yeah, NPC.
Oh, it's hilarious, dude.
But now I have to listen to music, and my dad gets something all the time because like people come in the shop and I'm blaring music, nobody can hear what's going on. Because when I'm working on my car, normally it's me by myself, and I'll be in there jamming something. But it literally might be anything from Tyler Childers to some freaking hardcore hip hop 50 Cent rap song to some Christian rock band that is the flavor of the week. So
do you ever listen to Jars of Clay?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were a great band when they came out, and they went mainstream. They were a Christian band, and they went mainstream, and they were a really great band.
Really good. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to those guys.
Was it Toad the Wet Sprocket? Wasn't that another one?
Was Toad? Yeah, I think Toad the Wet Sprocket. As a matter of fact, I think they were another Christian band. Really,
that's right.
Really, really good band too. So, yeah, that's great, man. Well, that's cool. You know, I think it says the music you listen to says a lot about somebody, and I'm the same way. I listen to everything. So, I have to say the one genre that I just can't get enough of, that I don't listen to enough of, which is weird. But when it comes on, it just is as good as it gets. Is bluegrass, man. It does, man. Yeah. Bluegrass. I just
Yonder, good old Yonder string band.
Some good tweaked out mandolin and banjo players smoking the strings, man. I mean, you're just like, oh, I can't take it. Like, my brain can't take the beats per minute. There's so many notes that it's just so good. Oh,
so we spend a lot of time in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, because my wife sit up there. So we Gatlinburg all the time. And is everywhere in Gatlinburg.
Yes, so it is.
If we spend a week in Gatlinburg, we find some bluegrass station and listen to it the whole time we're up there.
That's so funny. That's exactly what I do when we go to. Actually, when we left SGMP, we went straight to Gatlinburg and stayed there for a week. That was like my the week after decompressing from 5 months of planning that event.
Yeah, that's the perfect place to do it too.
Oh, isn't it so great? Oh my gosh! And then we went up to what is the man, what's that park up there? They do the lights at night. Shit, they have all the fuck, man. You excuse my French, but you take the lift up. Oh man, I don't remember the name of it. It was the first.
You're talking about in downtown Gatlinburg?
Yeah, and it's not to the Sky Bridge. It's not the Sky area where the Sky Bridge is. It's
Ober Gatlinburg. There's Ober Gatlinburg.
There's
and there's Anakista.
Anakista, that's it. So we went to Anakista for the first time.
Oh man, beautiful.
Dude, how cool is that place, man?
That restaurant built out over the balcony. Where
you
look out over the whole view. That place is great.
It's like at the big woven heart you take pictures of, and oh my gosh, it was so good. And then we would go find ice cream, and man, I mean, it just was as good as it gets. And I kept trying.
It's not great for your weight loss program to spend a week there, though. I assure you.
No, man. Yeah, no. We were dabbling in all the different restaurants. Actually, what we did is we got a really nice cabin up in the mountains, and my wife uses Instacart, so we just have groceries delivered.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
man, there's a place on the back of Main Street called the Peddler. And if you ever go back, you got to eat at the Peddler. So you have to get a reservation the day of your dining. And they start taking reservations at 4:00, and it's booked up by like 4:15 every time we've tried.
The Peddler.
The Peddler, but this literally they bring a cart of raw meat out and they cut your steak in front of you, and you get to select what cut of steak you want. And
man, that's what I'm talking about. Is it the one with the big pig on the sign?
No, it's behind all that. So like all of those Main Street stuff, there's a block behind it that has some stuff, and it's on the back streets, what we call it.
I got to text my wife that real quick, just because if I don't, I'll forget. And it's called the Peddler.
The Peddler, man, it's so good. And they have a salad bar. This is about as long as my house. and it's got everything you could ever want. It's super good. Best.
Oh, that sounds amazing, man. Yeah, I love Gatlinburg's just so beautiful. And then when you see a bear, you're like, holy shit, there's actually a bear.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't
the
see
last time
bear very often.
we stayed during Thanksgiving, and we were in a cabin way up in the woods, and it was my stepdad or her real dad and her stepmom and her whole family basically. And I just sat out on the porch looking for bears the whole time. I told him, I was like, I'm going to see one before we leave. Because we were in the woods, and I finally saw
after
one.
dinner, you're like throwing food out in the woods,
Yeah, I'm
just
like,
kind of bait them in,
even though we're not supposed to. But I finally saw one, and it was coming up the hill, and we were fixing to leave to go to a restaurant. I told him, I was like, I saw it now. I'm talking like I'm crazy. Like, yeah, you've been out there for 3 days. You're seeing stuff. And we got in the car and made the corner on the little gravel road, and he's standing in the middle of the road right in front of us.
Get out of here!
I told you I'm not crazy. I saw a black bear.
You're like, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, it was right beside us. It was literally 20 foot from our cabin too.
Oh shit, yeah, that's close, man. Holy cow, I wasn't that close. We did see one, but it was when we were in Anakeesta. We were doing one of the mountain coasters that you go down. You got the lever, and it just takes you, which is fun as shit. But we were getting ready to, and they were like, "There's a bear!" They had to shut the ride down, and one of the guys gets on the cart down there, and I was like, "What is he like luring himself into a lion's den? Like, why would you go take the car?" And they're like, "Oh, that's a bear. That's like a 500-600 pound black bear." Like, holy cow! And I'm like, "These guys are crazy, man. Like, I don't think spray's gonna. That bear wants to maul you, dude. He's gonna maul you. Like, what? They're going to it. They don't give a shit though. They got guns and bear spray.
Yeah, I was going to say they're used to it. It's like stray cats to them. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So with this, with your new, so back to racing real quick before we wrap things up here. So what are you looking? What are you hoping to other than getting A to B, right? Because from what I understand, that's like the most important thing, right? Getting A to B. But what's your personal best? What are you trying to be? What are you trying to get? Where are you trying to set the bar at with this new setup?
I'm so far down on the totem pole as far as ET goes. I've been fortunate enough to win a bunch of events, but I think my personal best is like a 61 at 212.
That's fast as shit, Hank.
It's moving.
This day and age, those guys are so much faster than that now. It's unbelievable. But man, anything in the 50s, that's what I've been trying to do for a while now. I've had the back split to run deep in the 50s, and I've had the front split to run deep in the 50s. I've just never put the tune-up together at the right place at the right time.
Okay, now when you're saying front split and back split, you're talking about the tune and your performance on the front half of the eighth and the back
basically
half.
Just the numbers, your 60-foot numbers, your 330s, what we call the middle split, and then the back split is from the 330 to the 660.
Gotcha.
So I've been 112, 113 out the back, which is way fast enough to go deep in the 50s, but I didn't have but a 950 or 960, 60 foot on that run.
Oh yeah, like they say, if your 60 starts with a 9, you're already screwed, right?
Right, like you're in trouble. So then finally, towards the end of that year, I had worked on my program, messed with the 4-link, the converter, and we're going 902, 903, 901, way fast enough to run mid 50s. And my back split slowed down, and there was really no explanation as to why it did the same tune-up. Like we were talking about race cars or like promoting races. Like it was the same recipe, it just didn't bake the same cake. Like I don't know what happened to it. We just kind of struggled there, and since then, obviously we've changed cars. We're changing our motor program now. We're going to try to find some more horsepower. The new rear end from Marty Marillette's they say it's going to be a lot faster. We're going to an 11-inch gear. They say that's faster too. So we're trying a bunch of stuff, man. If we run in the 50s, but my dad tells me all the time, it doesn't matter what it runs. It don't matter what it mile an hour. It matters if the wind light comes on. So
amen.
I'm going to take that John Sullivan and try to impersonate him a little bit. And I want to go down there and cut some folks' head off at the starting line, and maybe I can get a lucky round win or two, and we'll try to win the event, you know?
Yeah. Well, hey, we're building a pot right now. Bruce Shuck started off, and then Kyle Moore added to it. So, but we're just picking up some money. We're going to throw some cash at anybody that cuts a perfect light and wins their round in competition. So kind of building this little pot up to give to somebody who manages to do it.
All right, Stubbs Racing, put us down. We'll throw 100 in the pot.
Oh, there it is. We're at 300. All right. I guess this is how this happens. Huh? Everybody's like, yeah, hey, let's just keep doing it.
I think the rule should be the fastest hole shot wins. Whoever has the biggest hole shot. So like John Sullivan crushes Daddy Clyde with that 72 to a 58 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah,
that should be who the money goes to, is whoever the biggest gap is in ET. But I'll play
whoever
along.
gets gapped the worst.
If you can get a perfect reaction time, that's pretty cool too, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hey, in the spirit of ADRL Nation, Bruce is a fan. Bruce was never look. Here's what's interesting. Bruce had never ever even been to an ADRL event. SGMP was his very first event. He ended up following us somehow. I know he became started following us on Facebook. He came to SGMP because he's from Georgia or Northern Florida, one of the two, and came to his very first ADRL event. We met, and he said that after that, he was like, I'm a fan, dude. He's like, Fears, you're fucking, excuse my French, but he's like, you're great. And he didn't say the F word, but I'm cussed like a sailor. But so now he's a new fan, and he won $100 because he guessed that I was going to be Obi-Wan at the at Drag Wars. And so I was like, oh, there you go, man, you got the $100. He's like, I'm going to save it. And he goes, and I want to pay it forward. I want to give my $100 to whoever cuts a perfect light and wins the round in competition. And I was like, hey, all right. And so we just started asking and add money to it. So Bruce Shuck's the one that came up with that. So in the spirit of the ADRL Nation, we'll just keep adding to them, man. And I'm going to add $100. So let's make it $400 now. So
$400. Hey, somebody cuts a perfect light. That's going to be a payday. That's diesel fuel money.
Yeah, no shit. So we're at $400 right now. So that sounds like a good time, and we'll just keep talking about that prior to the event. So, hey, man, we appreciate you being on with us, brother. It's always good talking to you. You're just such a nice, genuine human, and I don't stroke or ride people's, sacks or anything like that. Like if I don't like somebody, I just tell them, or I just don't tell them, and I just don't associate with them. But
if I don't like somebody, they're going to know it because I'm not going to talk to them. And it's hard to be that way. So, like, you're going to know it in a hurry because I'm just not going to be around. I'm going to be around people that I enjoy being around.
Oh, it's funny. I can totally see Hank like being in the pits, like everybody's talking and smiling, and somebody walks up. Hank's like,
he just disappears.
See you.
Irish goodbye.
Exactly.
I love those too.
But brother, hey, thanks for joining on, Hank, and hope you get your car all wrapped up, and would love to see it, Drag Wars, man. And maybe you get a little froggy and decide to put on, a costume or whatever. I think we're gonna do I don't know, a few $100 to $500 for the winner for this costume contest. So just make it a little fun. So if you feel like it, do it.
My driving suit's already black, so that kind of counts as Darth Vader, right? So
there you go. You throw a Darth Vader helmet on her.
Give me a Darth Vader helmet. Give me a red lightsaber. I could pull it off. I may be force choking some of those guys in the start line anyway.
It'd be so funny. I just totally envision this. You're in the staging lanes, right? And you have your Darth Vader helmet on. You just look over at somebody. You just start doing this as they're putting their suit on. You're like, and I could see the other guy playing along with it, like, oh my God.
But the funny thing is, my black Corvette, my Jeffers car that I raced for the last couple of years, I painted it solid black when I first bought it because it was wrapped, I don't know, like pink and blue. It was ugly.
Oh, that's cute.
So I painted the thing solid black, and we're trying to come up with a nickname for it. And my idea was Darth Vader. I love Darth Vader. I'm a Star Wars fan, closet fan. That's one reason that nobody knows, I guess. But I let my dad pick it out, and he's a huge Intimidator fan, so that car got dubbed the Intimidator after Dale Earnhardt. So,
okay, yeah, Intimidator's good.
I was this close to being the Darth Vader guy anyway.
You almost had Vader on there.
I wanted to be the Vader.
I mean, just with the look of the car, I almost feel like you could make it look like the helmet.
Yeah,
like if you had the right wrap or paint scheme, you could almost make it look like Darth Vader's helmet. That'd be totally rad.
So many options.
Yeah, or the
I'm
dark
nerding
stuff.
out. I'm a closet nerd. I love Star Wars, so
that's good, man. Well, as long as you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, or
yeah,
do you?
I might. Who knows? That's before my time. I was born in the 80s, but it was late in the 80s.
Oh, I got you. No, I actually grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, so that's why I said that.
To be honest with you, my ride into Star Wars, like I hated superhero movies growing up. I hated.
Yeah, me too, man.
I hated all that stuff, and then Chris Pratt played in a Western. And it's called like The Magnificent Seven or something. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with Chris Pratt. So then I'm like, hey, what else does this dude play in? I'm like, oh, here's a show with him where he's talking to a raccoon. And I got like introduced into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I love Chris Pratt in this too. And it's so funny. I was like, if I like Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe I'll like superhero movies. So I started watching like all of the Marvel stuff. And a buddy of mine was like, man, if you're into Marvel, you should watch Star Wars. So I literally sat down in like a week and watched everything that Star Wars had to offer. I was like, oh my God, I love it all.
Oh, and then you tried to figure out like which one you're supposed to watch first.
Yeah, so I had
You're like, oh, wait.
Google. I had to Google like which. So the first movie came out like in my era, so it came out like in the 90s.
Yeah, that's right.
Third movie came out in the 70s, and like
Yes.
the sixth movie came out in the 2010s. So I had to figure all that out too. And
Yeah.
now people have to call me to ask me because I know all of it. But I started out on Google. You know, I had to like know what everything was. And all. Now the Mandalorian is my jam. I love all the Mandalorian stuff.
So is that where Hollywood came from?
No, Hollywood actually came from one of John Sullivan's crew guys, I think, was the originator. I always wore, well, yeah, you know, look, hey, I've probably got a pair here somewhere. I always wore some like sick Oakleys, hit the racetrack. They were always on. So I got dubbed Hollywood Hank because I always had my Oakleys on.
Oh, I love it, dude. That's great. I was wondering, I'm like, it's fitting, dude. You like all these movies, and so yeah, Hollywood's great, but sunglasses are equally.
Yeah, it was more the look. I was always, you know.
Yeah, those are good, dude. Those are nice Oakleys, actually.
Man, I've got a collection of them. I've got them everywhere. And my buddy just became a dealer for Ray-Bans and Maui.
No way.
My addiction grows. I like.
Can you get a hookup on Ray-Bans?
I got the hookup on Ray-Bans and Maui Gyms.
Oh no! Oh yes, I need a pair of Maui's. I lost mine on vacation, and I was just absolutely depressing because I'd had them for so long. They didn't scratch. I can't even explain how light they are. You don't even know you're wearing them. The polarization on them are like nothing other. I mean, they're just amazing glasses. And when I lost them, I was absolutely beside myself. However, so with that being said, I've become a dealer for Burromax pit bikes, electric pit bikes. So if you or you know anybody is looking for a little electric pit bike, pit motorcycle, dude, I got them hooked up, man. I got the hookup on them.
So yeah, we'll do some trading out. I'll get you some glasses. You get me a pit bike. That sounds like a fair trade.
Yeah, hey, love it. As long as they're like $1,500 glasses, we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome, man. Well, Hank, I appreciate you being on with us, brother. We're going to wrap it up. Again, look forward to seeing you at the Drag Wars there in Montgomery. I almost said Birmingham, but because that's your neck of the woods, but in Montgomery, and should be a great event, brother. So we're going to try to put it on for you guys.
I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's the reason I'm here. He's the reason I get to do this. I want to thank you guys for having me on, man. And thanks to all my crew guys that make it possible for us to be here, and my sponsors. I have guys like Manton Push Rods that's been with me for life now. Brad Anderson, always been a big sponsor of mine. Noonan helps me out. Fuel Tech, those guys are big. Davis with Davis Technologies helps me out a bunch. And Ken Jakozak with Motorsports Unlimited, those guys have been with me since day one also. So I want to thank all my sponsors to help us get here.
Amen, man. Well, amen. So to the Lord above, to all of our sponsors, to our friends, family, and the community that supports us, that keeps us going, man, we'll say thank you to them. And we will see you in Montgomery, brother. So appreciate you again, Hollywood. I love that nickname. It's so good. and we'll see you at the track, brother.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, man. Peace and chicken grease.
Yeah, see you guys.
Love him.
Yeah, good time.
He's so good, dude.
Oh yeah,
he's so easy to talk to.
It doesn't seem like you guys were talking for an hour and 7 minutes. But that's how long it was. So
was it really? No way.
Yeah. Who am I to stand in the way of, if you guys were just sitting there staring at each other, I would have pulled the plug or jumped in or said something, but hey, all good conversation.
Oh my gosh, so good. Hackers. What is this?
Who knows? Sounds exciting though. So good episode.
Yeah, that was really good, man. No, that was really good.
Rubber 400 for the pot. So keep that thing growing. See where that ends up here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure, man. So it seems like I hate to quit. Allergy so bad right now in Missouri, man. I mean, the pollen is like nothing I've ever seen.
It's pretty thick.
Yet it's been real thick, man. Actually, thicker than I ever recall. Lori and I were going down the highway the other day and noticed a yellow hue to the sky. And literally it was all the pollen. And we live, I mean, I guess that's just what happens when you live in the Midwest and you have an early spring and all the plants are just ready to explode. Yeah, super mild winter, plenty of rain, lots of growth. Yeah, man, it just seems like it all exploded at once, man. My poor son, who's allergic to pollen, his eyes were just like somebody took sandpaper to him. Oh my gosh, dude. Yikes. So bad. Yeah, it was so bad. But yeah, great event. All right. Well, hey, Drag Wars, Montgomery International Dragway, May 3rd and 4th. May the 4th be with us. Free spectator event. Tell everybody. Tell your friends, your mom, your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nieces, any extended family. Doesn't matter how dysfunctional it is. All your friends, extended friends, internationals, nationals. Doesn't matter. Tell them all. Let's pack the stands. Let's make this a banger. And for all the racers, let's give the fans something to. Let's give them something to read about,
something to talk about, like Bonnie said.
Yeah. Let's give them something to talk about. Let's get them out there, man. Let's show them what outlaw drag racing is all about. Right? Let's make it a good family,
make it a fun
banger event. That's what we're here to do.
Indeed.
So again, we want to thank Renegade Racing Fuels, Fuel Tech, and Chris Dunker Race Cars, our sponsors. We also want to, again, plug Burromax Pit Bikes. Again, we're official dealer. So if you're looking for a pit bike, let us know. There's 5 different sizes, 250, 350, 450, 750, 1000, and the 1600. 3 different sizes, small, medium, large. All different volts, 24, 36, and 52. So let us know. Be happy to get you on one. We'll give you an amazing ADRL Nation discount. And that just helps to fund the ADRL as well. So appreciate everybody. Prince Adam, you got anything? Am I missing anything?
I think we got it all pretty well covered.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, Prince Adam, for your kick-ass captainism.
Not a problem. That's why I sit at the helm.
That is why you sit at the helm. I've just got the spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
I see land.
Trouble ahead.
Trouble ahead. Oh, it's too late. We totally hit that iceberg.
It's all right.
Totally hit that iceberg. All right, man. Well, hey, brother, I appreciate you. I'm gonna get off of here. It is 8:40. Tomorrow's Friday. I've got to nail some things down. Pretty sure I got all the radio stations taken care of, so everybody should be good to go there. Working on some tents and some barrier vests with red tide canopies, and working with Greg Gabzupko at VA Inc. doing our merchandise, our artwork. Man, I'm gonna tell you what. I want to plug him real quick. What a badass artist, man. He is so good at what he does. And a lot of times I don't even know what to tell him. Like, hey, this is kind of the idea. And he's like, how about this? Whoosh. And it's like, wow, that's really cool, Greg. So Greg Gabzupko, appreciate you, brother. Keep pumping out the good shit for us. And other than that, we will see everybody next Tuesday night or Thursday night, whichever you choose to attend. Tuesday night is the Bet You Didn't Know podcast. It's kind of senseless, kind of fun. We learn something sometimes. Sometimes we don't. It just depends on what we want to talk about. Kind of the goal, though. It's transitioned from little known facts or forgotten facts to politics, hamster food, and school districts. So
many different iterations, but we'll see what this Tuesday brings.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys then. Again, appreciate everybody. Peace and chicken grease.